Hey Internet, it's me, Elijah, or SquishyUshi, as you may know me. I have seen today a video or live stream by the man Andrew T. Walker. He seems to be a evangelist type person. He believes in natural law and uses that to kind of justify some transphobic and homophobic views on the world. You may have also heard that he's a Southern Baptist professor. I'm not 100% sure what it was, but if I look on my phone real quick, is Associate Professor of Christian Ethics at the Southern Baptist Theologian Seminary and a Fellow with the Ethics and Public Policy Center. Interesting. Anyway, I watched this video that I'm about to watch with you, and I took in what he was saying. I don't really agree with him. As someone who's kind of coming up in this community, I like to post a lot on philosophical, ethical, and racial topics. I'm an activist for many of these things. I'm agnostic. I'm also against most religion until there's a good one, which I don't think there will be. But, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, I'll be talking about this for a bit. I'd love to start a conversation with people. Andrew, if you're watching this, then hey, no hard feelings, man. I just don't agree with anything you said here. And I believe that opening your mind to different possibilities and also the research that is out there, which I will, when editing, show clips of things that we know as scientific fact, or at least is regarded as fact by the large majority of people. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get on to it. And oh, I meant to say, Andrew, if you want to have a debate, I'm open to it. I'm not really trained in all this stuff. I am planning on going to college soon for philosophical studies, psychological studies, psychiatrist studies, and also maybe theological studies, probably ethics as well. I would love to have a future in this industry and also be able to converse with other theologians and kind of get like an idea of maybe, we aren't all that different because a lot of these religions are the same when you break them down. I know you guys don't agree with that, but that's just my view. So, anyway, let's start the video. I am going to skip ahead because there's a big long speech before the segment that I would like to see.
Are you with us? Do we have a connection?
I am Dr. Sweeting. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, and I'm just going to lower that volume a little bit because I don't know how loud it'll be. I do believe I'm separating the tracks, so I should be able to edit that in post if it's too loud or too low. Also, just finding it funny, of course they explained why he's not there, but it's just funny to me that he's not, because I know this guy must be like anti-vax and everything. He sounds pretty down the meme hole. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was a anti-vax and just didn't want to go even though he promotes it. I will double check that in edit. Okay.
Thank you for joining us. It's all yours.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Sweeting. Let me first and foremost express my appreciation for having time with you all to discuss a topic that is of near and dear interest to me, and honestly was almost a little bit shocked and dumbfounded when I got this invitation, but then found out that issues of natural law are embedded in your school's identity. And so I thought how wonderful that is to have that focused in your school's kind of DNA, and then the opportunity to speak on that. Uh, Obviously, it is regrettable that I'm not there.
After watching this, I hope that they, stop teaching natural law. It is insane listening to this man. Like, he is, I just don't understand how this is even a topic of debate.
In person with you all. I would much rather be there. I know Dr. Sweeting, Dr. Matthew Hall, our provost, thinks very highly of you, and I really wish I was there to have face-to-face time with you all. But nonetheless, it is good to be with you all, even if over Zoom. And I obviously know that I have no grounds to complain about bad weather and cold weather, given the fact that I am talking to native Coloradans. So
It's
hope I
cold
pronounced
here.
that correctly as well. We do have some ice and snow here on the ground, which prohibited me from coming to you all. But nonetheless, we are here gathered over Zoom.
Whatever.
And thankful for this opportunity to be with you all. So the topic we're going to discuss is natural law. And if you can see the screen, what I've titled this lecture is Understanding How God's Moral Order Works. And then philosophical.
Let me just real quick sum up how God's morals work. God gets to do whatever he wants because he's God, and other things exist, and he deems them either worthy or not worthy of existing. Or, if you believe in hell as well, he allows demons and evil things to exist so that he may punish his own people for not believing in him, even though you would think as a all-knowing being, this God would not be childish and be like, yeah, some people probably don't believe in me because I don't show them any reason to believe in me, and haven't since, biblical times. So he just punishes you for not knowing about him, even though he doesn't do anything in his all-powerful being state to show you that he exists. So that's how his moral order works.
Theological and biblical considerations. And that's really what natural law is about. It's a mode of moral reasoning that is there as an explanatory doctrine for us to understand how God has made the world. Why is it that we have the moral intuitions that we do have? And it's about issues of basic human good that we want to explore and think deeply about. And honestly, natural law as a mode of Christian moral thought has actually fallen out of favor over the last 60 or 70 years.
Because
There
it's
were 20th
stupid.
century debates in the mid-20th century that kind of led to the decline of natural law amongst
Good.
Protestants, because it's nowadays predominantly thought as a Catholic idea. But one of the things I want us to kind of walk away from with this lecture is for us to understand that it's not exclusively a Catholic idea. Ideas of the natural law go back to the very beginning of Christianity itself.
The very beginning.
And so if you go to the Reformation, in fact, the Reformation, and I have some quotes that hopefully we get to today from Calvin and Luther, individuals like Philip Melanchthon, who are exponents of the natural law. And so for us, this isn't really borrowing from the Catholic tradition. It's really us going back to our own tradition in the Reformation and seeing how the...
Isn't Catholic tradition kinda Christian tradition? I grew up as a Christian up until my early teens, and I just don't see a difference in Catholicism anymore. It is, yes, it is a religion where you worship the same God, you worship the Trinity. The biggest difference is that in Catholicism they have the Pope and modern day saints.
themselves. So let me situate why I think this conversation matters. It matters because a few years ago, I was at a church in Florida giving a set of talks on the issue of transgenderism. And on the second night of talks, before I was getting ready to get on stage, a teacher came up to me. And she said
I
something
hate
that
this
I'll never,
part.
ever forget. And she said, I'm so thankful for the set of lectures that you've given on this transgender issue. And she said, I never knew that we actually had good reasons to believe what we believe around issues of gender and sexuality.
Okay, so basically what he's saying here, this woman said, fucking actually said, thank you for giving us reasons to believe in hating trans people, or that they're not real people, or who they say they are. It's like, what the fuck? Thank you for letting me demoralize other humans? Very cool. Like, what the fuck, bro? Come on. And then he's talking about how it's an accomplishment. Like, dude, do you not see that when you say these things to trans people and, actually demoralize them and show them that they are lesser humans than you, that really fucks with people. And instead of shoving that onto people and getting offended when there's a war on Christians, it's like, just respect that trans people exist and that they're fucking what they identify as. Like, if they identify as a girl, let them be a girl. It doesn't fucking affect you, dude. Like, whatsoever. And he says later in this video that it's like against Christianity beliefs. And it's like, okay, but also Christianity beliefs say love thy neighbor, which he mentions in this video. But is that you can't love a trans person because they go against your rules. But in the Bible it also says to love them. So which law are you going by? Are you going by the moral order of God is, you know, hateful towards trans people? Or are you going in the moral order of maybe we're all human and we don't know if there's a God or a life after death, and maybe we should just respect people because, it kind of sucks here. It sucks living. Existence is hell. We we get 100 years on this fucking earth at best, give or take, the few that live to 120 now. In the future, they say we'll live to like 150 even. So hope I'm around for that. But existence sucks. You know why? Because we're little fucking apes that shouldn't know what we're talking about. We should not have evolved to this, but we did accidentally. And now we've created these mythical beings such as gods or Santa or the Tooth Fairy or blah blah blah. It's like people will argue against this, saying, well, no, you can't prove that God doesn't exist, but you can debunk a lot of what's in the Christian Bible and Muslim Quran, in the Judaist book. The is the Quran the Jewish one? I don't know. I'm going to cut that part out. But you can see in the Christian Bible, there are things that we have debunked and continue to debunk. And then the fucking gall of these people like Andrew go and pretend like these studies do not exist or that they're fraudulent. And it's like, how do you know they're fraudulent? And when I say something about evolution, people go, well, why haven't we seen monkeys evolve? And monkeys haven't fucking evolved because it hasn't been long enough. And in fact, if you look, and pay attention and listen to what the scientists are saying these days, fucking monkeys have evolved. Humans have evolved. We are taller now than we used to be. We are smarter now than we used to be. We have people with IQs above, any recorded measurement. We are going to space. It's like evolution is not always in the DNA, but we are also evolving every day. Every time there's a baby born, every new generation, there is DNA being shared that has changed. And as it changes and mixes with other changed DNA, it will evolve, it will adapt, it will overcome any obstacle. Life finds a way, it always finds a way. Any thing that happens to this universe will at some point result in life. Whether it's intelligent or not, there will be life. And if God just zaps us all back up to heaven or puts the people down in hell, then that's a good thing. It shows that we were wrong. It shows that humans are stupid. And cool, win for the Christians or the Muslims or the Jewish or the inter-religion here. No matter what afterlife you believe in, there is always a chance that you're wrong, because humans have fucked up a lot through the past, especially with religion and positions of power. So think about that before just blindly trusting in these books, in people. There's so many things that have changed over the years. If you're willing to look it up and research it, uh, I will try and link some videos that have helped me. Um, I know there is a real backlash against atheists still. But I think once you kind of get past that, there is a whole world of information that you've been missing out on. And not that it's all good, but there's some scary shit in there. Um, a lot of existentialism is horrifying. And there's a reason why we're scared of it. There's a reason why we've created gods. And, to say that everything makes sense with science is an understatement. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. Just ranting, because this part's so fucking stupid. I mean, all of it's stupid, but transphobic shit is like you are just denying someone their basic human rights. So fuck that.
And that really struck with me because it says it sends a signal to me that if we think that our ethics only makes sense because there's a Bible verse, it means we're not doing ethics in how the Bible talks about ethics. Now, please hear me. I'm not trying to denigrate or devalue the role of Scripture at all in ethics. I teach at Southern Seminary. We have a very, very high view of ethics, or of Scripture. But what I want to do, and we'll get there later today in this lecture, is for us to understand that when Scripture itself speaks of morality, it's speaking of created reality, and it's speaking of creation order itself. And there's a very big principle that we deduce from this. It means if we jettison the Bible's understanding of morality, we're not just jettisoning the Bible, we're actually jettisoning all rational, coherent forms of morality itself. So the question
No.
is what we believe around morality, is it coherent? Is it rational? Is it something that someone hypothetically, even if they didn't have access to revelation, could have some understanding of what it is that we believe? And
Yes,
that's going to lead
but
us
not
later
for
to a
what you're
discussion
arguing.
about why do we deploy the natural law? Why
Someone who has not been exposed to Christianity will be able to know morals. It depends on their environment, though. When you go see, the untouched tribe that lives on an island and has never had contact with any Christians, any outside sources, whatever, you will see them be cannibals. And these fucking people kill each other. They sacrifice each other. They eat each other. And there you can argue, well, eventually they would find Christianity, but like, what about if they didn't? What if we protected that island forever and nobody could ever contact them? What if we all get nuked and there's no Bibles, no Christians left on earth? Will those new people just be damned? Or are they going to be, morally corrupt?
How do we use it? And I'm going to actually reframe how I think we ought to use natural law. But fundamentally, I want our thinking on natural law to be oriented around the idea that natural law is a philosophical, theological school of thought that's helping us understand the way that God has created us. God has created our created order, and how ultimately this is about our human flourishing as well. I want to share a quote with you all from C.S. Lewis to kind of get things going.
After this, I'll
He says,
pause
I
again.
believe that the primary moral principles on which all others depend are rationally perceived. Their intrinsic reasonableness shines by its own light. It is because all morality is based on such self-evident principles that we can say to a man, when we recall him to right conduct, be reasonable.
Andrew. I hate C.S. Lewis now. I had no idea who this man was until this stream. I had no idea who Andrew was either. But I don't like Andrew. He's alive, and I don't like him. I don't want him to die. I want him to see reason. As C.S. Lewis has said, be reasonable. When I read this, I laugh because he says here, I believe that the primary moral principles on which all others depend are rationally perceived. So, what he is saying is that when you are born, or as Christians believe, when you're conceived, you are imbued by God or your soul or whatever to be a reasonable, morally correct human, right? So what they're saying is exactly what I was talking about earlier with the tribe that has not been contacted by other humans. If you run into this tribe and you see them cannibalizing each other, you could tell them, hey, guys, you don't gotta eat each other. We have a lot of food and shelter, and we know why rain works and the sun works and crops come in and how to get more fish, and here's technology, and you can interact with anyone ever. I feel like a lot of people are against going and saying hi to these cannibals because, yeah, it would be fucking scary. But if we were to somehow gain their trust and trade with them like the rest of the fucking world did in the old days, maybe they wouldn't be fucking killing each other and eating each other. They're like, rationality comes from humans getting together and saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't kill each other, right? Or maybe it sucks to die. So let's build a system that we can all agree on. That is rationality, not some intrinsic fucking imbued power upon you. God does not write fucking don't kill each other in your brain. He had to write it on tablets. What the fuck, bro? Like, you're not born with it. Even even if I were to agree with Andrew and religious people everywhere, I could say, well, you know, it's not intrinsically imbued upon me, upon my conception in this world when my dad fucks my mom. No, it is imbued upon me when I'm read the Bible and the Ten Commandments come out and I hear them and I know now what this moral code is that God presents to us. So why don't they just say that? Why don't they say that and go, here it is in the Bible. It says blah, 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 blah. You gotta not kill people. You gotta love your neighbor. You gotta, you know, kill your slaves or something. I don't remember what it says. It says something about treating your slaves well. And it's like, as if that justifies anything. Um, Realize that humans have come to the place that they're in because we group together and because we share knowledge and opinions on things. If we didn't, we would never grow as a whole. We would not be taking over the entire planet and killing it right now. God, I wish we stayed monkeys, because then the earth wouldn't be like this, and maybe we would all just be chilling out, smoking a doobie with each other. But we're not. So, fucking, I don't know. Continue, Andrew. I hate you. I hate C.S. Lewis. This whole stream is garbage.
Now, I understand that we have to do some issues of philosophy in this particular lecture, and I want to keep things as kind of simple as I can, but there are some issues of complexity that we have to wrestle through here. What Lewis is getting at right here is he's saying, if we use the phrase be reasonable, he's saying, how do we understand what it is that is reasonable?
Because
saying,
we
well, we just know
communicate.
what reason is. We know what reasonableness is.
Because other
There's some
humans
type of
feel this
presuppositional
way.
truth to our account of goodness that makes sense of what goodness actually is. So natural law is about discovering those basic principles of moral action, about what it means to be reasonable. It's about our knowledge of morality, how we come to have that morality, what it demands of us as far as its ability to direct us to the human good. And what I want to kind of submit to you all today is that natural law is all around us if we go looking for it. A few years ago, I was driving to downtown Nashville where I used to work, and the Tennessee Department of Transportation had signage on overpasses during inclement
This
weather.
is so
One day
stupid.
it was snowing and there was ice, and the Tennessee Department of Transportation had a sign over the overpass that said effectively, drive safe, arrive alive. And that just got me thinking.
Before we continue, sorry I keep pausing, but holy fuck, I gotta respond to these things. So what he's saying proves exactly what I was just saying. Humans discovered driving. They discovered the automobile. And in doing so, they realized it fucking hurts to get hit by a car. And once they got too fast and they started needing seatbelts, they realized seatbelts fucking save you because they don't launch you through the window like you would normally do if you stopped going 70 miles an hour all of a sudden. So, when you see these signs, drive safe, you, as a human, can look back on your environment. You can go, well, what is driving? Driving is when I'm in an automobile. Driving is paying attention to the road, going 70 miles an hour because of this luxurious car that I have. Driving safe was safety. Safe is a term that humans have come up with to describe well-being. If you are safe, you are out of harm's way, you are not being hunted, you are not dying. You are not crashing your car. So when you see drive safe in a big yellow sign to catch your attention, you recognize, oh, drive safe. I'm driving and I should be safe. Because if I'm not safe, I will lose my life. If I do not drive how others want me to drive, we'll probably die. That's what the sign is saying. It is not that you are born knowing what the fuck drive safe means. What the fuck are you talking about, Andrew? You do not, you're not, that is not intrinsic to us. We did not get born as biblical people and say, ah, yes, drive safe. Like, what? So what, God sends a fucking software update to our brains every now and again? Like, 2021 kids are being born and they just know how the iPad works and how to be civil online. That's stupid. And if you break it down more and you just say, well, babies know what it feels like to be hurt, that's even dumber. Because that can be explained with nerve endings. They send signals to your brain to let you know, hey man, we're fucking dying right now. Something is attacking us and we need to be scared. And you could say God put the nerve endings in there and designed them to feel that way and tell your brain these things. But then you look at things like fish. Fish have nerve endings. Why can they feel things but not really interpret what pain is? Why do dogs think, if you kick them, it's always intentional? Even if you just trip over them, it's not like you meant to kick them, but they don't know that. They think everything is done for a reason. And so, what is stupid is when you imply we all just know this. Because you don't. If you're raised in an environment where you don't get taught these things, you will not know these things. So, if I go up to a kid who's never seen a car before and I say, drive safe, he'll say, what does that mean? And I will have to explain what driving and safety is to him. That is not God imbuing him with that. And fuck you if you say it is, because it's not. It's me. It's past humans telling me to drive safe and what it means. So then I can pass it down to the new generation quicker and faster than before. Anyway.
Okay, well you have the state, you have an authority broadcasting a message to thousands of drivers on the highway. And what is that sign really saying? That sign is saying you want to order your behavior in such a way that your behavior promotes something. And the question is, what are those rules and advice they're actually pointing us to? It's pointing us to the need that we want to drive safely so that we don't kill ourselves, right? Well,
Yeah, Andrew, that is what it's televising. And that is not intrinsically in your brain. That is a government, as you said, a government implemented system. So I don't know what you're getting at. But I also want to point out that he missed an opportunity for comedy gold. He could have said, it's promoting to be rational. Just like C.S. Lewis. Wow! Anyway, fuck me, dude.
okay, well that presumes something. That presumes some antecedent or prerequisite knowledge that life itself is a basic good. That it's what we would call a non-instrumental good. That it's something that's pursued for its own sake. And so you had the state saying, drive safe, arrive alive. They weren't relying on
Dying hurts, Andrew.
they were relying on the belief that every single person on the road had some innate capacity that led them to understand that it is better to be alive.
No, they don't!
And so if that's the case, if our minds do grasp that there's some type of entailment.
Your mind grasps that because you don't like getting fucking hurt. You don't like pain, Andrew. It's not that you understand that dying sucks. It's just that pain sucks. And if that's intrinsical, then fucking what does that even mean? Because when a baby's born, it has no idea what pain is, but it can perceive pain. It can receive it. It can process it in its brain and go, wow, I don't like when that happens because it hurts, right? So it doesn't know the words though. It doesn't it if anything, it knows what it feels like. But does that mean the baby understands what pain is or what death is or what anything is? A baby is a fucking pile of mush at that point. When it pops out, it's a blank computer of flesh. Your brain has no fucking perceived time, space, anything. You don't know anything. And until you're about, I don't know, like 5, you probably don't remember shit. And as we get older, we forget shit. So like what what, Andrew? What are you saying? Man, come on.
Or there's the production of a moral norm that stems from the reality that life is a good, and that moral reality or that moral norm
I hate
is
life. Fucking
drive
kill
safe.
me.
Uh, Order your behavior on the road in such a way that it promotes your flourishing, and that also promotes the flourishing of others around you, so that you don't harm them. And that's a natural law principle. Why is it that individuals have an innate sense that their life is worth preserving and safeguarding?
Not everybody has that. I hate life. I hate existing. I wish it never happened to me. I am scared of dying because I know that after this life, there is nothing. And I don't want that right now. I would like to spend the little fucking 100 years that I have here doing shit that I like doing. And if if I die early, I hope that it is doing something I love, and not because some drunk guy kills me on the road, or someone doesn't put their blinker on and cuts me off and causes a 15-car pileup. That is why we say drive safe. We do not want to die, but we do kind of want to die, just not then. So that is kind of another way of looking at it, Andrew. Sorry I keep interrupting. You can talk for a while.
Well, again, that refers to the innate understanding of basic knowledge of what constitutes human flourishing and the human good. As the gentleman was talking to us at the very beginning, he mentioned the Olympics, which started this morning. And
Woo!
watching a documentary on the Olympics,
Woo!
made aware of something that I was not aware of until then, and you may not be aware of until now either. That before the games actually all start, the judges, the coaches, and the athletes all take what is called the Olympic pledge, and they've done this since 1972. And you have, in effect, global representatives from all over the world before a global stage making the following statement. I'm going to read it to you. It says this: each representative says in their own part this: in the name of the athletes, in the name of all judges, in the names of all coaches and officials, we promise to take part in these Olympic Games, respecting and abiding by the rules and in the spirit of fair play, inclusion,
Yes.
and equality.
Yes.
Together we stand in solidarity and commit ourselves to sport without doping, without cheating,
Good.
without any form of discrimination. We do this for the honor of our teams, in respect for the fundamental principles
No
of
discrimination.
Olympism, and to make the world a better place through sport. So
There you have
Think
it.
about this. This is natural law.
Uh-huh.
You have
What?
individuals
What?
from all over the world standing on camera making this pledge. And what is the pledge? The pledge is we're going to abide by a system of justice. We're not going to cheat.
What?
We're not going to apply unfair criteria in terms of how we judge someone's conduct on the court or on the ski slope, so to speak. So what is this getting to? It's getting to the fact that there is some type of moral knowledge that is universal.
No, it's
that
not.
Everyone seems to understand it regardless of time, place, or geography.
No, they don't.
It means that some type of moral knowledge is objective in nature. Objective means simply that it actually exists.
Okay, I'm gonna pause real quick. My dog's whining. I'm gonna take her outside and take a smoke break because holy shit, what he just said is so stupid. As is the whole stream. So, I'll be back.
Thanks for watching.